10 AIs team up to make a horror game you can't screenshot. Hey guys, what is up? So today I did something a little crazy. I got 10 different AIs to help me build a horror game. Like all 10 of them worked on the same project, passing it down like a relay race basically. And at the end of the video, I will also be ranking all the AIs on a tier list, so you know which one helped me the most and which ones could actually help you the most on your own projects. But before I get into this, I do want to say
that the rankings are based on some things that y'all won't actually see in this video, just because it would have been really boring to watch. Like the AI making mistake after mistake, or hallucinating, or like sometimes I would try to implement something on one AI and it just wouldn't work. So I gave it a different task instead, and that would work. Like improving the code worked on some of them, but actually implementing new features didn't, if that makes sense.
And if you've seen Branta Games' video, I made a horror game that's impossible to screenshot, then you probably already know where this is going. Shout out to him, by the way. Big inspiration for this project. But I did it in a slightly different way. Maybe even a little better, I think. You'll just have to watch to find out. All right, let's get into it.
Day 1. So the first thing I did was hop on Perplexity. And honestly, Perplexity is really good for the research and setup phase of a project. So I used it to lay down the foundation of the whole thing. What we ended up with at this point was basically random generated noise on the screen. And you could change the size of the pixels too. Now, here is where things start to get interesting, because I needed to actually build the 3D world. So I switched over to ChatGPT for this part. And ChatGPT did help me get the basic 3D structure set up. But of course, more bugs. We were getting closer though, like you could actually start to see a world forming, but it was upside down. The floor was on top and the ceiling was on the bottom, which was kind of funny honestly, but obviously not what we wanted. So we fixed that. But then the next problem was that it looked way too rounded. So I tried to fix this with Minimax AI, and honestly, Minimax just did not understand what I was trying to say. So I threw it out and moved on. And then I started using Claude, and this is where things actually started to look good, like noticeably better. The rendering started cleaning up, the proportions looked more accurate, and the pixel effects started to actually feel intentional rather than just broken. It was looking like something now. But there were still issues. The skybox, it didn't have any real depth to it, and it didn't move when you moved the camera, which made it feel really flat and fake. We also updated the UI at this point, cleaned it up a little, made it look a bit more polished. So the whole thing was starting to feel way more like an actual game.
Day 2. Okay, so day 2, I woke up and got back into it. And this time, I started with Gemini Pro. The main thing I was trying to fix here was the horizon, because the pixels where the floor met the ceiling just looked really disconnected, like there was this weird seam, and it looked bad. Gemini actually did a solid job fixing this. The horizon started to look like it flowed together a lot better. We also added black fog at this point, and that was for 2 reasons. One was a rendering issue, because when I lowered the pixel count to get more detail, it was trying to render way too many pixels at once, and it was killing the performance. So the fog basically cuts off the render distance, so it doesn't have to calculate as far out. And 2, the black fog just looks really good for a horror game. So I moved on to Grok. The main thing Grok fixed was this bug where the fog was always rendering in the middle of the canvas instead of at the horizon where it was supposed to be. Which sounds like a small thing, but it was really annoying visually. Like the fog was just floating in the middle of the screen for no reason. It also fixed some inverted camera and movement bugs, which was interesting because I had those same bugs way back at the beginning of the project, and I thought we had already fixed them. But they kind of leaked back in through all the code changes, so Grok cleaned those up. It also added collision to the ceiling, which matters because before you could just fly straight through it, which felt wrong. Okay, so next up was supposed to be Copilot, but Copilot literally could not accept all the code I was trying to give it for context. The context window was just too small, so I skipped it. And honestly, I wasn't that worried about it. I just want to be clear though,
every AI that I skipped or that didn't make it into the main parts of this video, it was because it genuinely didn't work or couldn't handle the task, not because I randomly skipped them. There was always a reason. I am still going to rank all of them on the tier list at the end though, so don't worry. So now I moved on to Z.ai. What I was trying to do here was add some color to the project, because up until this point, everything was black, white, and gray. Z.ai did help with performance, the black fog, and getting some color to work. But the way it did it was weird. It put everything into one single HTML file. So I scrapped what it gave me and moved on. But I did keep the color idea in my head for later, and I ended up using it, so it wasn't totally useless. Then I moved on to DeepSeek, and I just asked it to do a full code audit. Then I tried to use DeepSeek to also implement the 3D and 2D entity spawning. I got the basic implementation down, so I moved on, and that brings us to Kimi. So I asked Kimi to fix the spawning problem that DeepSeek couldn't get right. And it did. Well, sort of. And then I also had Kimi implement that color feature I mentioned from the Z.ai part, which it actually pulled off. And we updated the UI one more time to clean everything up. And that was basically our final product.
Anyways, here's how I ranked all the AIs that I used. Goodbye!